Good evening, everybody. Chris and Tiffany here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to tonight's live video. We got lots of people here already.
So right now we have Dilly. Hello, Chris and Tiffany. Attila the Fun. Hey, Chris and Tiffany and everyone else. Howdy from Texas. Alien Frequency is here. Dale. Robert. Bajarn. James. Hello,
James.
everyone from a still cold Cincinnati.
I guess James is okay because after spending a week with us on the cruise ship, he still showed up to the live.
Yes.
We didn't scare James off. So that is a plus.
That is a plus.
That is an absolute plus. Well, welcome everybody. Glad to have everybody here tonight because we are here tonight to talk about Norwegian Cruise Lines, specifically our cruise on board the Norwegian Prima. We're going to talk about the good. We're going to talk about the bad. And of course, we're going to talk about the ugly. And unfortunately, there were a couple.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but there were a couple of uglies for this particular cruise. Excuse me. So we're going to cover all that. Now, before we get into any of that, I just want to make this clear. This was our very first Norwegian cruise. So we've only ever sailed on the Prima. So everything is going to be based on this one cruise, our opinion of Norwegian. And it is exactly that. It's just our opinion. So it's based on our experiences. So it's not, someone else could have been on the exact same ship and had a completely different experience. But we're going to share how we feel about it.
Kathy's here, and I always say her name wrong. You said it.
I can't. I don't even have my glasses on. It's like I can read any of it. Shika. I think that's it. That's
Welcome back. Hello, everyone.
All right. So good evening, everybody. We actually have a lot to go over tonight. There's actually quite a bit. James being here was also on the ship with us. So he can chime in and see how his experiences compared to ours.
Yes.
But naturally, like always, we want to start off with the good things.
Yes.
And first and foremost, it was a good cruise. It was a good trip, had a lot of fun. It was an enjoyable experience. So we're not coming off of the ship going, oh my God, Norwegian sucks. We never want to go Norwegian again. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. Like all cruise lines, they have pluses. They have minuses. The Norwegian Prima has some extra minuses that I think are ship specific. But they said we're going to get into all that. And I even have my handy dandy notes. That way I don't forget anything because I will forget everything on there.
He just can't read them.
I just can't read them. What's the first one on the list, baby?
Cabin.
Cabin. All right. So we're going to start talking. We had an inside cabin on board. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen our cabin tour video because that one is already out. I liked the cabins on the Norwegian Prima. They were new. They were modern. I liked the color schemes in them, the soft touch drawers, lots of storage space for an inside cabin. I mean, just honestly, for a cruise cabin, period.
Yeah.
It was well designed. It was well laid out. There was a lot of storage space.
Yeah, even in the bathroom.
Even in the bathroom.
You didn't even notice there was cabinets under the sink until the last day.
Right. It was a well-appointed cabin. There was places to get power all the way around the room, USB ports next to the beds, on the desks. Probably one of my absolute favorite cabins was the one on the Norwegian Prima.
Yes, the shower.
The shower, no shower curtain. Yeah. No slidey space capsule doors like you get on Royal Caribbean. No shower curtain. Probably one of the bigger showers that I've ever seen on a cruise ship too.
Besides Disney, yeah. Disney has the bathtub.
Yeah, but they have the bathtubs. This was just a straight shower.
Yeah.
And again, an inside cabin, not a fancy cabin, not an upgrade cabin, not a spacious cabin by any means, but done well, really, really well. I would stay in a Norwegian cabin again anytime. I really, really liked it. What were your favorite parts of the cabin?
Pretty much everything you said. I definitely liked the color scheme, though. It was a lot more calming, relaxing, tranquil, not in your face, vibrant.
I agree. It definitely gave you that calming feeling inside the cabin. It was comfortable. Yeah. It really was comfortable.
It's Cruising Karen. Hello. We've been on NCL twice. It was great on the Encore. The gym was okay.
Yeah. The Prima was that. But yeah, overall, the cabin was good. And let's see what you got.
James said I had a solo balcony, which I think was a normal balcony that they just classify as a solo. Yes, my cabin was the same shower, nice and big, plenty of room.
Yeah, so I definitely give a thumbs up to the cabin we had, and James gives a thumbs up to his on board the Norwegian Prima. So that is definitely a good thing, in my opinion.
Yes.
All right, Tiffany's got the list here. She's going to give us number 2.
Next is food and freestyle.
Oh, okay. So the food on the Norwegian Prima was good.
Yes.
Good food. I liked the way Norwegian Prima does their dining options. So, of course, it's freestyle dining. Mm-hmm. No set times. You know, things open and close, of course. But there was no, set dining times. When you were ready, if you wanted to go to the main dining room, you just go.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked they had multiple included choices. The local, indulge, the buffet. They had the main dining rooms, kind of spread around the ship.
There was snacks in the observation area.
Yeah, snacks in the observation lounge.
Yes.
So there was a lot of good dining options on board that were complimentary, and the food was good. I liked the food in the local. It was kind of that bar food atmosphere.
Yes.
You know, you get some burgers, some hot dogs. Tiffany was eating the fish and chips in there. You get pretzel bites and cheese, hot wings, desserts. Hot fudge sundaes. And the local was open 24 hours a day. So you go in there for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You go in there and get a late night snack. I like the 24-hour a day option. So, me, I get up 3 o'clock in the morning. Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy?
Were they open local?
Yes, 24 hours a day.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was looking at some things.
Tiffany apparently was on a different ship.
Yes.
But yes, the local's open 24 hours a day. Are you thinking of indulge?
No, I was thinking when you were trying to film and you couldn't get in that one area, but we went in a different way and it was...
Because that wasn't the local, that was the bar.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Tiffany is on a whole different ship. And not with me. But anyway... So, yeah, 24 hours a day food is really, really good. The Indulge restaurant, which is one of the uniquest concept, and I like the complete concept. And I have videos. It was on today's video for Embarkation Day. Yeah, you sit at the table. There's a tablet on the table. You go through and you select the different restaurants that are in there. It's almost kind of like food courtish, but you don't ever leave your table. You pick everything you want right there on the tablet. Push what you want, and then they just bring it to you. Mm-hmm. And it's complimentary, breakfast, lunch, and dinner again. And I like that concept. for one meal, you could say, okay, I want this from the Indian restaurant. I want this from the smokehouse. I want this type of salad. I want, and you just kind of pick from around the place, and they just bring it out. I mean, we had turkey sandwiches from the smokehouse and Singapore street noodles all in one meal.
Yeah. From
that tablet. So a really nice concept, and also complimentary. It's included in the price of your cruise ticket. That was nice. We ate in the buffet. Mm-hmm. Overall, the food in the buffet was good. It was good. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the buffet. But overall, I would say the food on the Prima was good. We ate in one specialty restaurant. We ate in Hasuki, which is the Japanese tapenaki restaurant. And that food was excellent.
Yes, it was.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. We had the one specialty restaurant that came with our free at sea. James said, I recommend we go to Hasuki. I've never had a bad meal there. And he was right.
Yes.
Turned out to be an excellent choice.
And a good show.
Yes.
Attila said, like the tablet way to order your meals.
Yeah, that was a really neat. I like that. You don't get up. You don't wait in line. You just sit there and relax, and they bring it to you. And yeah, it was super crowded in there. It takes an extra couple minutes. Wait in there when it was crowded, but it's not like it was like, oh, it took forever. The tablet system messed up on us one time while we're in there. And it wasn't even a big deal. We just asked real quickly, said, hey, is there something going on here? We ordered and other people are getting stuff. And ours is, I think the tablet messed up. And the crew members were almost like, oh God, we're going to look, we're going to check. I was like, whoa, relax guys, relax.
Yeah.
Dude, I just want to know if we need to push the buttons again.
Yeah.
Okay. We're not freaking out about the food, what's going on. We just don't want to double order because I didn't have to use it the first day. And I accidentally double ordered the very first day more than we could eat. And I just didn't want to repeat that.
Yeah.
Technology, it hiccups every once in a while.
James says, I agree. The food was very good for me no matter where I ate. The indulge tablet never worked for him.
Yeah, it worked for us. Well, I said, I messed it up the first day, but that was purely me. It messed up on the night that we were all three eating in there. But then we used it again, and it worked really well. So I guess it's iffy, but I still like the concept.
Yeah. Now, we were told that if you ordered bar drinks,
not to order them through the tablet.
Not to order them through the tablet, because that is what messed up the order.
That's true. It does give you the option to order your bar drinks right there through the tablet, but even the crew was like, don't do it. Just tell us, and we'll go get it because of that exact reason. They did say the bar drinks causes that whole system to go wackadoodle in sideways. So, but yeah, so food gets a thumbs up.
Yes. Next is the crew members.
Oh, the crew members. Now, crew members always usually end up on the good side. And of course, Norwegian's crew was no different. But they did stand above some of the other crews we've had on this case. They were like extra interactive, this crew. They wanted to take extra time to talk and to communicate. And these crew members, the ones that I talked to, I even have an interview with one. They were so proud of the Norwegian Prima. Mm-hmm. They were very proud of it. They were proud to work on board the Norwegian Prima, to be part of her crew. And that reflected in their attitudes. So they were like extra positive, extra happy, extra friendly. So like I said, I love all crew members and have always had great experiences with crew members on cruise ships. This particular crew just kind of stood out a little bit. They were just a little more above and beyond, I think is the best way to say it. They were awesome in every way, shape, or form. And it was enough to be like, hey, this is even better than some other crew members that we met. They just seemed like happy, proud to be there, proud to do their jobs, proud to be a part of that crew. And I think it reflected in their interactions with us as passengers. Mm-hmm. You could see it. You could feel it. And it definitely showed. Yeah. It definitely showed.
I heard quite a few of the other passengers talking about their interactions with the crew, and some of them partied with the crew.
I don't know if I believe that guy.
But they did have great interactions with them.
All right, so now, unfortunately, we do have to talk about some of the bad stuff. Now, keep in mind, our version of bad is not catastrophe, Titanic hit an iceberg sinking kind of catastrophe. It's just things that we didn't really care for as much. So, what is number one on the bad list?
A lot of the activities cost money. James, honestly, after 9 NCL cruises, this staff was one of the better overall staff.
Yeah, they stood out. All right, so we're going to kind of get on some stuff that we didn't care for as much. And for us, that's going to be activities on board the cruise ship. You know, a lot of cruises, they put out their daily planners for activities they have on somewhere. And they did. They put out their daily activity list, and they had some activities on there. But, like, if you're a fan of trivia, they didn't play near as much trivia. Good portion of the activities on the Prima, you know, they had an extra charge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're real proud of their racetrack. You know, they got a racetrack on there. Well, that costs money. Even, like, the miniature golf that's up on the top deck on most cruise ships, they charged for that.
Now, granted, it wasn't interactive golf,
but it's still charged.
Still a charge.
They didn't have as what I would, I guess, kind of consider enough complimentary activities like some of the other cruise lines do. And remember, this is our opinion. You could be looking at that list and go, man, this is the best cruise I've ever seen for activity. But for us, it just wasn't quite what we like. Like I said, a lot of the activities during the daytime were like, oh, you know, come do this spa activity, do this, or go do this at the art gallery and things like that we're just not as interested in. You know, Tiffany likes a lot of the theme trivia. You know, 80s trivia, Disney trivias, Harry Potter trivias, and just didn't really see that on this particular cruise. So the activities were so-so in my opinion. What else on that? Do you have anything on activities?
Yeah, just pretty much the same. A lot of them were ship layout.
We're going to come back to ship layout.
The vibe.
With that, we're going to come back to the vibe. What's the last one?
Production shows.
Okay, so production shows. No real, what I consider a production show on the entire cruise. They had Summer, the Donna Summer show. That was it. No Footloose, no Kinky Boots, no Mamma Mia's. There's another one, Something of Man. They're just, I don't know. I wasn't feeling the production shows on this cruise. You know, I like the good Broadway style production shows on a cruise. I like that form of entertainment. And I kind of felt that the Prima was lacking on that a little bit. I know Norwegian had put out they were going to be changing and cutting back and doing all this other kind of stuff with their production shows. And I kind of really felt it. You know, for our first experience with Norwegian, that's one thing that stood out is, where's all the good production shows?
Yeah. Medic says we were on the Prima January 5th through the 12th, and we did not like the Prima compared to other NCL ships. Crew was not as friendly as the other ships. Most venues closed or unavailable.
Yeah. See, we were on it the 19th, and we had a completely different experience. I'm not sure what was happening that week versus our week, because our experience was so different. The crew when we were on there was so outgoing, so friendly, so happy, and yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Though it's amazing how you can even sometimes be on the same ship and have a completely different experience. Mm-hmm. Which is why I said at the beginning, you know, these are our opinions, because not everybody feels the same about every single cruise. But we're going to go into ship layout. This is probably one of the absolute biggest negatives about the Prima. Now, I do want to stop by saying the Prima itself, she was beautiful. Mm-hmm. A beautiful ship. Nicely decorated. She was pretty. She was clean. She was well maintained. She was loved. Absolutely, she was loved. She was a beautiful, beautiful ship. But the layout of that poor ship is rough. It's honestly rough. So a lot of the venues, if you haven't had a chance to be on the Prima, because even James said that the Prima is different than all of the other Royal Caribbean, all of the Norwegian ships that came before. But we haven't sailed on those, so we only have the Prima. But the venues on board the Prima are tiny, tiny venues. A lot of the places where they have the live music, the improv, the poorhouse, and places like that on board the ship where they have activities that people want to go to, hold like less than 100 people. 3,000 passengers on a cruise ship, and some of these venues hold less than 100 people.
I think James was saying that the poorhouse only held like 45 people or something like that. And there was always a line in the evening for that. I know James tried to get in a few times.
But all of the venues are like that. The the local is small. The indulge is not all that big. The buffet is one of the smallest buffets size-wise that I've seen on a cruise ship of that size. Mm-hmm. And the theory behind, the best theory I've heard from Norwegian about why this was done seems to be that Norwegian said, well, we did this so people will spread out around the cruise ship and no one place will be overly crowded. Well, that would make perfect sense. But if you're having a great show in one of the smaller venues that people want to see, and you have no other activities going on at the ship at the same time, you have 3,000 people that want to get into a room that holds 45 people. It was a problem. Yeah. And to get into someplace like the poorhouse, you had to be in line sometimes 2 and 3 hours before the show started to hope you could get a seat in there. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, the way they designed some of these spaces, it just worked. The pool deck, the Lido deck, the pool area was basically just a box because the racetrack takes up 3 decks. The go-kart track took up 3 decks of the ship, and it just kills all the top deck space. There's no way you could even get a quarter of the passengers on the ship up around the pool at one time. It's not even possible. Then behind the buffet, they have the adults only area, the Vibe, which is a pretty big looking space, but you got to pay to get in there. It's an upcharge. And for our cruise, it was $240 per person to get into the Vibe, basically to sit in a chair. For the week, yeah, $240 for the week to even get into the Vibe. And then one deck down and behind, of course, is the Haven, which is for the suite only areas. But then, and that takes up X amount of deck space. So honest in reality, for your just everyday paying passengers, the amount of deck space up there around the pool, a couple hundred people out of 1,000, 3,000 is all that we're ever going to ever comfortably be around that pool. There were 2 little infinity pools down on deck 8 and then the main pool. But yeah, ship's layout, it wasn't designed to have 3,000 people be anywhere remotely happy around the ship all at one time. But it was a pretty ship. Mm-hmm. It was pretty. It just didn't make a lot of sense.
Just Cody said he made it. Hi, Chris and Tiffany.
Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Shika. We were on the Prima last year, and a lot of the venues were not available or too full, which was disappointing, and they did not like the buffet. James, yes, the venues were too small, especially the Sid Normans. People had to stand in line an hour before the show and still did not get a seat. The pool area was way too small.
Yeah. So, I said, then that's my issue with the layout for the Prima. It's just, it wasn't really conducive to the open deck. I mean, yeah, the go-kart track, 3-story go-kart track, it sounds cool, but for a lot of times and for a lot of cruisers, it's probably a one and done. Mm-hmm. Look, I did it. It's great, cool. And they'll never, ever use it again. It probably is taking up way too much real estate that should be used to expand the pool area. And so that's really my biggest downsides to the Prima was just the way she was laid out. And one of the only cruise ships where the only adults only area which was a whole lot of deck space compared to the regular pool space, $240 per person for a week.
And if you go into port, those days, I mean, we were supposed to have 4 port
Yeah.
stops, so that's 4 days that
You're
you're
in
not
port.
using it.
Yeah, see, that was a little pricey for what on majority of other cruise ships. You know, Royal's got adult only area, doesn't cost you. Carnival has the adults only area, doesn't cost you. And then when that racetrack took away all that deck space, and then the remaining deck space, they basically say, now you got to pay to use it. A little bit cranky on Norwegian's part.
James says the spa was very expensive too. Think it was $370 for the week. So that was for the thermal spa.
Yeah, for the thermal spa. And when we walked through the spa, the thermal spa itself wasn't all that big either. It was kind of skinny. And I got a video of it. It's not like that was like a big giant space either.
Alien Frequency. It sounds like if I ever sail on the Prima, I'll just get an adult beverage package and find a good bar on board.
There were plenty of those. There were plenty of those. All right, so do we have anything else on Ben?
No, that was it.
Okay. Yeah, so as I said, entertainment was lacking a little bit, in my opinion, for production shows and the layout of the ship. Pretty ship. Beautiful ship. I mean, she was gorgeous. But just her layout was at best. I think if they'd have laid her out more in an open type concept, maybe a couple of, fewer things. It just seemed like there was a lot of wasted space and things that, they could have done without to increase the size of the venues, which is what the passengers wanted to use, at least on our cruise, because that's what they were in line to use.
James says, plus the first day was a sea day and it rained the whole day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we had rain on the cruise. That much is for sure. All right. And finally, we're going to talk about the ugly.
The internet.
All right. Yep. So first, we're going to talk about the internet on board, because there was a very specific reason why you didn't see much from us the entire week, and it was that internet. Now, we had the free at sea internet. Now, that includes 150 minutes of their basic internet plan, which, by the way, I wondered, well, how long will it last? We never even used all of it because it was so terrible that it wouldn't do anything but look at Facebook anyway. Yeah. That's all it would do. Now, you could upgrade to the unlimited version of that, which James can tell y'all he did, and still could do nothing but look at Facebook. If you wanted internet that actually worked, you had to go to their super premium plan, and that thing for our cruise was a few $100s more to use. But I'm going to give you guys a real quick example because I test these things when I'm on board the ship. And for my techie friends out there that, are familiar with stuff like that, this is the speed test that I ran from Norwegian's internet while on board the ship. 1.97 with a 0.64 upload. This internet was just about, worthless for anything. And the only thing it would even do, it wouldn't even try to open most things, but all it really tried to do was open Facebook. So they kind of have it set up where it's like, yeah, we're going to tell you can get this. You can pay a little bit more and get it unlimited. But what that really means is unless you're willing to pay the big price, and I want to say the upgrade offer they sent to me for the internet was like $300 some odd for the week. That's too high.
Plus, if you didn't use, I tried to get on the very last day disembarkation, and they'd already turned it all off. So if you didn't use it all,
it was free at sea, so it was they gave us that time for free, but couldn't even use it because it really didn't do anything.
James says the bar staff was really good. The Penrose bar was his favorite.
Yeah, we did see you there every single night.
That's okay, though. I wonder if they're going to expand the pool area on the Aquas since it's not going to have the racetrack. Hopefully so. Hopefully so.
Hopefully they've learned because a lot of the problems and complaints I read about the Prima and going into the Viva have pretty much all been very, very similar to it. The spaces just aren't big enough for the passengers on board the ship. Hopefully Norwegian's taken that to heart and said, you know what? it's pretty, but it's just not conducive. If they were willing to take, and reduce down the number of passengers that are on board at one time, which, no cruise line's willing to do because that hits the old pocketbook, the Prima might be better able to handle the numbers.
James says, what internet? It was not good.
Exactly.
Janine, never on the Prima. I agree about wasted space and all the extras is crazy. Going on my 12th NCL cruise in March and third time on the Escape. The pool is the best that I have seen.
Yeah, and that's what James said too. He said you don't judge Norwegian based on what the Prima is offering because this is not what the rest of the fleet is like. He said the Prima is a complete opposite from what, the main Norwegian fleet looks like. And that's why we're not saying no. This isn't going to be our last NCL cruise ever. We're just specifically talking about the Prima. We agree. You can't judge, one cruise line based on one ship either. And everything that we've seen and read and even saw this last week coincides with what everybody's been saying is the Prima's she's off. Her design is off.
James says, Janine agreed. My favorite ships were the Encore and the Escape. Medic says, NCL says the next ships will be 10 to 30% bigger.
The Prima would have been a perfectly fine ship had she been designed differently. Her layout been done differently, she probably would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't fit the people that want to go into the shows. You just can't fit them in all of the places to eat. And it's great to have the theory that, well, if we spread it out, the people will spread out, but you're not giving the people a reason to spread out. That's what I think killed them. I think their theory is good, but their practice is bad.
Bruce asked if the Prima had an ice bar.
No. Prima is not one of the ones that has an ice bar. Yeah, there's no room for it on the Prima.
Well, you wouldn't be able to fit that many people into it.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, then technically I guess there was, but they called that the freezer, and only 3 people could go in at a time. That's a joke. No ice bar on the Prima. All right, what was the last one?
The app.
Oh my God, the app. Now, I don't know if this was just our cruise. I don't know if it was because of the way maybe they have to interact with the app to load the daily activities onto it from onboard the ship, and that was causing the problem. I don't know what the issue is with the app other than the app sucked. It was not user-friendly, and half the time it didn't even let you know. We could not see the activities going on the ship for the week. Every single day it would say, well, we'll hopefully load these 24 hours before the next day. But I'm going to show you guys another example because, I like examples. And where's my example? Here we go. No, is that my example? All right, here we go. So this is an example of the screenshot. Now you can see at the very top, I took this at 5:47 in the morning. That's the morning. We were on day 3. So at 5:47 in the morning, it was still telling us exciting events await. You'll have all the details ready for you 24 hours ahead of time. This was same day. It was same day, and that was exactly what the app was telling us. So you could not plan anything for the week based on the app. It made making reservations and booking certain activities on the ship difficult. Things would just randomly disappear from the app. We were trying to book the go-karts because you have to make a reservation, and it would just disappear from the app altogether. Yeah. And you still had to go to the venues and make the reservations. The app was just wonky. And, when you're, it falls under ugly because I think in today's world of modern technology, when you compare it to other cruise lines apps, it was subpar, and it worked subpar. So,
I agree. The Bliss is beautiful. Like the Breakaway. The only Norwegian ship I've been on is the Encore. That being said, the internet on it sucked and the app was no good either. That was in January of 22.
Well, I can tell you, sir, that the internet still sucked on a different ship and the app still sucked on a different ship.
I'm very glad you tried NCL. I've never done Royal and maybe someday. James, the older ships like the Breakaway and Getaway were better ships. Overall, was the value good for the cruise?
Yes. I'm gonna say yes. Now, my opinion on why I say yes could be way different than anybody else's. I like trying new cruise lines. I like the experiences. I like the ships. I like what I get from it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was worth it. Norwegian has not. I can have a list of good, the bad, and the ugly, but Norwegian did not put a bad taste in my mouth.
No.
I am definitely willing to try Norwegian again. I'm willing to go on another Norwegian cruise ship. We're going to have the Breakaway, which I know is an older Norwegian cruise ship, but she's going to be coming to Galveston soon. And then the Viva is going to be coming to Galveston. And I'm still willing to go on both of them. I'm still willing to even go on the Viva, even though I know that she is designed like the Prima. I'm still willing to give her a shot. I'm still willing to look at her. Overall, the cruise experience was still an excellent cruise experience.
Mm-hmm.
And because all cruise lines have a good, a bad, and an ugly. These are just what we experienced on Norwegian. And I said, ship layout was a little small. It was easy to navigate. The spaces were just small. That racetrack really shouldn't be. It's a cool, novel idea, but it takes up too much deck space. And then, like I said, the app was terrible and the internet is terrible. So if you can live without those two things for ugly, it's a good experience. Food is good. Crew is good. Experience was good.
Mm-hmm. Love the drink package that came with free at sea. Ordered 2 at a time and put them in my tumbler. Good for a while.
Yeah, now we did have free at sea, and I actually do want to talk about that. So we did have the free at sea. We had the drink package. We had the internet. We had the specialty dining, and we had the shore excursion.
Mm-hmm.
So for the drink package for us, and it's specifically us and how we drink, we don't drink a lot of alcohol. Tiffany doesn't drink a lot of alcohol or a lot of soda. She prefers coffee, specialty coffees, and things like that, which just aren't included in that package. And when they pre-charge you the service charges and all that ahead of time, we kind of felt that we had to consume enough and drink enough stuff that maybe we wouldn't drink every single day just to make up that money difference. So, but yeah, if you like bar drinks, you want your frozen drink, you want your drink by the pool and all that kind of stuff, then the free at sea drink package absolutely is a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely worth it. But if you're, you just like your specialty coffees or an energy drink or some of that other stuff like that, they're just not included. And so you still end up paying even with a drink package. That one really is going to have to say about a person's individual preference. I mean, Tiffany was trying different bar drinks just to basically use for drink package.
Alien, did you guys do any shore excursions? And will you be posting any more videos from this cruise? And did you go to Mr. Sanchos? Sorry, that's a lot of questions.
Yes. And the answer is yes to everything you just asked. We absolutely. Yeah, we have just released Embarkation Day. The videos are probably going to be running for another week and a half by the time they actually all come out. But yep, we did shore excursions. We absolutely went to Mr. Sanchos, and we were actually going to get to a lot of that stuff right now. I just wanted to cover the basics of the Norwegian cruise. And I guess the final question on that can be is, would you take Norwegian cruise again?
Mm-hmm.
So would I. But overall, Norwegian gets a thumbs up.
Yes, very much.
Is it my absolute new favorite cruise line? No, it is not. It does not check enough of the boxes. I'm still going to have to, at the end of the day, the one that checks the absolute most number of boxes for me is still Royal Caribbean. That's just the one I got to say, it checks the most boxes. So I'm gonna have to keep Royal at the top.
Okay.
Norwegian did not knock them off.
James says he's looking to check out the Carnival Jubilee next. Bruce says 2020 Breakaway was refurbished. James said, yes, I had the drink package and it worked for me.
Well, yeah, it definitely worked. James got his money out of that drink package.
Bajarn is asking when James is looking to book the Jubilee. Cody, it would be nice if they would include specialty coffee and milkshakes as a drink in the drink package. Yes, it would. Yeah,
I completely agree with that. Because they did have the milkshakes on board. Where we found them was over at Coco's, and they were $12 a piece. Mm-hmm. But they were pretty elaborate and stuff like that.
Everything but the kitchen sink.
In their version of the milkshakes. If they were elsewhere on the ship, I'm not sure. But where we found them, they were $12 a piece. They were made with gelato, and there'll be a video coming out about those crazy milkshakes. But my God.
James says, ask Chris about Mr. Sanchos drinks. And then he's looking to book later this year on the Jubilee. Would you have to upgrade the drink package to get everything else, including water?
Yes, but it was quite expensive. Mm-hmm. It honestly was quite expensive. But unless you specifically want your water in the little milk cartons, because remember, Norwegian water doesn't come in plastic bottles. It comes in essentially a juice box. There was never a water shortage on board the ship. They had places to get water all around the ship. The ship's water, to me, it tasted just fine.
Yeah.
And the drink stations, like where you get your water, the ice, the coffee, they were in the buffet, and some down on deck 8. We're available 24 hours a day.
Just take a cup.
Yeah, just take your own cup if you don't want a small little cup. Fill it with ice, fill it with water. I would not, me personally, I wouldn't pay for water, at least not on the Prima. Mm-hmm. It was just too readily available.
The Jubilee looks cool. We want to go on the Mardi Gras eventually and ride the roller coaster. It's at the port we can get to easily. Okay. And then I will be on the Jubilee in May. Yay.
I want to do the Jubilee.
Yeah.
I also want to do the Harmony of the Seas. There's several good ones coming. There are several good ones coming. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about the cruise itself. Now, it's January. Gulf of Mexico in January usually means bumpy ride.
Yes.
It usually does. I know our ride was a little bumpy. The Jubilee was out when we were out. She was having a little bumpy. Excuse me. Voyager of the Seas is out, and she's having a whole lot of bumpy. Mm-hmm. January in the Gulf can be a rough ride out.
Yes.
And a rough ride in. Once you get down and around, it smooths out a lot, but it can be a little bit bumpy. So it rained on us the first sea day, mm-hmm. and it was raining on us the next day, which was supposed to be Costa Maya. Our entire stop at Costa Maya got canceled. We got the fun and ever entertaining message right on our TV. And like I said, I share everything with you guys here, but this is exactly what they told us. Weather conditions, not safe to dock in Costa Maya. So you're getting a sea day instead. Shore excursions will automatically be refunded to your account. So this was the fun and entertaining message we got that morning when we were heading into Costa Maya.
We also learned something interesting about an extra sea day. The crew had to work extra hard and longer hours. I know James said he talked to one crew member that worked like 12 hours that day.
That's normal on all cruise lines.
No, not for this particular crew member.
Okay. But yeah, so Costa Maya, it saw it coming though. And it's even in the video. I even talk about it, and then the announcement comes out. We started to pull up to the dock in Costa Maya. We did the 180. We were going to go in aft first, and halfway through the docking procedure, we just stopped and started drifting away from the dock. And as soon as that happened, I was like, we're not docking here. But you could see the waves. They were rough. They were banging up against the dock. And a couple minutes later, the captain comes on and says, nope, I'm not even going to try it. I'm not even going to try it. So we headed right back out to sea. Safety call. Weather, safety. Captain made his choice and his decision. But surprisingly enough, because I was curious, I went inside shortly after that. We sat in the atrium, listened to the announcements. I watched to see if people were going to rush the customer service desk. I never saw a long line at the customer service. Actually, I never saw a really long line at customer service the entire cruise. So apparently most people did not get, butthurt, basically, that we missed a port. I think we had understanding passengers.
Mm-hmm. Medic says, talk about the Texas limited bar and taxes in Texas water.
Okay, so what that essentially means is when you're in port or you're in Texas, you're within the 12 miles of shore, you're going to pay a Texas sales tax. So they're going to charge you an additional sales tax on your drinks while you're within that. And so where you're going to see that is on embarkation day. I think New York has it too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, certain cruise lines like Carnival Cruise Lines, they won't start your drink package on that day. They make you wait till the following day if you sail from Texas or New York. Other cruise lines like Royal, Norwegian, stuff like that, they just charge you the Texas sales tax. Now, from what we drink, I didn't see a really big reduction in all the drinks you could get, but we don't drink a lot, so we don't ask for anything that maybe we wouldn't have noticed that. But they do charge that sales tax. And on the Prima, they had signs at every single one of the bars on embarkation day that says, hey, we are in Texas waters. We are charging you, and I want to say it was like 18% or whatever the case would be, sales tax while we're in these waters. Big signs, clearly posted. So for most people, it shouldn't have been a shock. At least not on that cruise. But yeah, if you sail from Texas, it doesn't really matter what cruise line you're in, because that's a Texas thing, not a cruise line thing.
James says, yeah, a lot of people had their own cups for water on the ship.
We did.
We got in Costa Maya on NCL when no other ship did on the getaway.
Yeah, I know we didn't get in, and then I want to say it was like the next day the Jubilee didn't get in either.
Yeah.
I know a couple got bumped the same week we were out.
Did you see Voyager of the Sea hanging out in Cozumel in the afternoon? They were there a day early because the same issue in Costa Maya. And yes, we did, because I kept saying that ship is going very, very slow. And they're like, oh, it's because it's in the channel. And I'm like, no, it's going slow. And then it turned around and went, it was just circling.
So yes, we did see a cruise ship out. At the time did not know it was Voyager of the Seas. But yeah, we saw a cruise ship. It almost looked like they were like peeking in the window like, come on, guys, can I come over there with y'all? Back and forth. And then at one point, she almost came up like she was going to dock. Like she was looking like, does anybody want to move for me? And then she had to go back out. But we did see poor Voyager of the Seas looking for a place to go.
James says, yes, one bartender that served me drinks all day actually worked 14 hours that day.
Wow.
Yes, Connie, we did and wondered what was happening there. On the J, they don't take your card from New York. On the Joy. On the Joy, they don't take your card from New York.
Okay.
They stayed overnight. Okay. Carnival.
So they were just waiting for someone to get out of the way.
Yeah. Carnival does out of Long Beach. So I'm assuming the taxes on the drinks.
No, the only ones that Carnival, the drink package doesn't work is Texas and New York. It does work in Long Beach, if I'm reading what she's saying right. Because those are the only two that I know for a fact they don't work. Yeah, so that storm was moving cruise ships all over the place that particular day. And I know when Voyager wanted to dock, there was a Carnival ship, or no, where Voyager would have docked over on the Royal Caribbean dock, there were two Celebrity ships over there. Because Cozumel was full that day. Mm-hmm. There was two Norwegian, two Celebrity, one Carnival, and then one TUI Cruises. The Mein Chef 6 was in there next to us. So Cozumel was full that day.
Yeah.
She was very, very full. But yeah, so no Costa Maya weather. We ended up went out and having a sea day. And luckily though, after that, the weather just turned beautiful. Sun came out, warm. It was great after that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just beautiful. It completely cooperated for the rest of the cruise.
Until the last day.
Until that was a sea day.
Yes.
And that was back in the Gulf of Mexico, and you knew it was going to be bad.
Yes. But it affected your racetrack.
Well, we're not there yet. We're still back Coast Mile.
Yes.
Okay. You like jump ahead. You're the person who reads the last page of the book. We're not there yet. What's that?
Voyager got the spot that Norwegian Epic left.
Oh, okay. I did see it. Yeah, we saw Norwegian Epic sitting down there. That was kind of weird that she was down there parked, because she was down there at the Carnival where Carnival docks, and then we were way down at the other end with the Mein Chef 6. Your dog is barking.
Okay.
But, all right, so after that, we went to where we go next? Harvest Caye, right? Harvest Caye was the next day.
Yeah.
Yep, so we went to Harvest Caye, Norwegian's private island. What did you think about Harvest Caye?
I liked it.
I did too. Harvest Caye was nice. It was pretty, very green.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of beach chairs, large beach area, plenty of chairs, little shopping area. You could do excursions from there. The only downside to Harvest Caye, and I guess it depends on how you look at it, but it was Norwegian's private island. But nothing from the ship transferred to the island. So like you get on a lot of private islands, they have lunch and stuff like that. None of that was on Harvest Caye. If you wanted to eat on Harvest Caye, you had to pay. If you wanted a drink, you had to pay. No drink packages transferred, and you had to only use cash or card. So you couldn't even use your sign and sail account. And
it was kind of expensive too.
It was kind of expensive. I guess what I kind of find funny about it, and this is just an observation. Norwegian says the reason they do that is to help bolster the Bohemian economy. Okay, that makes sense. But if you got drinks and stuff like in the restaurant and everything like that, I don't know if you noticed, but all the cups that they came out of there with were all the Norwegian cups that came on, the same ones as they had on the cruise ship. Mm-hmm. Maybe they just loaned them cups. I don't know. But I kind of think that there's something a little... I'm not so sure how much that benefits the Bohemian government when it's cruise ship stuff and supplies that are on the island and the cruise line saying you have to pay, but somehow that's benefiting the local economy. I don't know. But the island was nice. We had a good time there.
Yeah. The California tax charred. The California tax. And then when cruising on the Encore out of Miami, we were charged on the first day for the drinks. NCL has a deal with Belize that they have to use local vendors. That's Belize, not their private island.
Yes. Harvest Caye is in Belize. They're talking about Harvest Caye.
Okay.
But it's in Belize. That's what you're saying. That. Okay. Anyway, okay. So they have a deal that they have to use that. Okay, that makes sense.
One of the most expensive Cokes I ever had. $4 a can. Yes. That's James. He did pay $4 for his Coke.
She says that's Belize, but not their private island. I don't know. Do any other cruise lines go to Harvest Caye? My understanding is that was only Norwegian.
I don't know.
Okay, what did James say?
That was the most expensive can of Coke he ever bought. It was $4.
Yeah. I mean, Harvest Caye was expensive. Like I said, it was still a pretty island. It was still a really pretty place. It was beautiful. Mm-hmm. It was absolutely beautiful. Had a really great time there. You just got to be aware that, got to have cash or card when you get off the ship. If you wish to purchase anything, you could use the beach for free. You could get chairs for free. Swim in the pool was all included. Things like that. It was just, if you wanted cabanas, any drinks, food, and of course, souvenirs.
and activities.
Right.
They had a zip line, they had snorkeling, they had paddle boats.
And yes, Harvest Key is in Belize.
Yes. When we were there last year, everything carried down to the island. Yeah, nothing carried down this time.
Yeah, nothing carried down this time.
No.
But I said I've heard that's only Harvest Key, and like someone said earlier, that's an agreement they have with the government in Belize. Because I don't believe, and I haven't been there. Someone that's been there will have to tell me. I think it's different over at Great Stirrup Key, which is Norwegian's island in the Bahamas. I think it's different over there. So I think that's a very specific situation with the Belize government.
Stir Key is an all-inclusive NCL private island. Apparently it has changed. James said that.
Yeah, it definitely has changed. I said it was gorgeous. It was beautiful, but it's just something to be aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Then after we left there, of course, we went to Roatan, docked in Cox and Hole. Cox and Hole is tiny.
Very tiny.
The cruise port itself, super, super, super tiny. And we had 2 cruise ships in there. And for 2 cruise ships being in there, that place was itty bitty. If you were going to Roatan and you were docking in Cox and Hole, you're going to need an excursion. Otherwise, you're going to get off the ship, spend 5 minutes, and get right back on the ship. Mm-hmm. If you don't have some type of plan that involves leaving the cruise port, because it is super, super tiny. Now, it is currently under construction. They're doing work. So it's probably going to get better. But for this particular trip, it was super, super tiny. And for us, that was a bit of a surprise for me, because we had docked at Mahogany Bay with Carnival, and it is a night and day difference between Cox and Hole and Mahogany Bay, even though they're both right there. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could see the other one when we were on board the ship. So it was really a night and day difference between Mahogany Bay and Cox and Hole. Wasn't a bad port, but it's super tiny, smaller than Progresso, and probably smaller than the one in Cayman Islands, as far as that goes. And of course, there's not a whole lot. I don't know that I would walk outside of the Cox and Hole cruise port without an excursion. I don't know if I'd walk out there by myself. It looked iffy, I guess is the best way to put that.
Well, just the way they drive. We were watching them pass each other on a single 2-lane road, and it says hit the like button.
Thank you, James. Thank you. Yeah, I always forget that part. But while we were in Roatan, we went on the excursion. We went on Discover Roatan, monkeys, sloths, and macaws.
And valuable lesson, read the entire description of the excursion. Don't just look at sloths and monkeys and go, yes, that's it.
Okay, now let me tell you what really happened. That was the only option when we booked this particular cruise through Norwegian. The only option we had to go to sloths was this excursion. This excursion includes more than just going to hug a sloth. Okay, unfortunately, you do not get to go hug a sloth for 4 hours.
No.
There was a lot more involved, and it was a good excursion.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good excursion, with the exception of the fact that it's called monkeys, sloths, and macaws, and not everybody in our group got to even hold the sloth because they were moving you through the sloth part so fast. Tiffany's lucky she got to hold. She was the last one that even got to hold the sloth. I wasn't even given the choice to hold it. The guy was, okay, y'all are done, and took the sloth and walked off. And it was a good excursion. It was a fun excursion. It was cool to see the sloth. But when the excursion is supposed to be about this, of the 4.5 hours we were on the excursion, the shortest thing we did on the entire excursion was the monkeys, sloths, and macaws. Yes. Of course, they take you to a shopping area. You got time there. You get 30 minutes in the shopping area. Then we went on a boat ride. Then we did the sloths real quick. And then we go to a beach, and we were at the beach resort. Went to Las Palmas Beach Resort for about an hour.
Yes. Got to try some traditional food, learn some traditional language, and dance
and some dancing and stuff like that. There will be videos of Tiffany and James doing the traditional dancing. So like I said, it was really cool that we got to see the monkeys. I'm glad Tiffany got to hold the sloth. That was one of the things she's just absolutely wanted to do, but I don't know. I felt that the what people went for was the part they rushed.
Yes.
And I heard other people say that you can get different ones, that it's not quite like that, but that's all that Norwegian was offering for this particular cruise that we could get. So maybe if we could go through it and do it on our own, third party or something like that, that might make a difference. But doing it through the cruise lines, sometimes you get what you get. Tiffany took off on us. I think the dogs are making noise. Let's see where we are. Read that one, baby.
Chica says, sorry.
No, this one, baby.
That's possum. We will never float with NCL. Horrible to employees. And who charges for putt-putt and private island charging? Yeah, no.
I said every cruise line is different the way they do things. I don't even know that every NCL ship charges for putt-putt. It could only be the Prima, because that's our only experience, but they were computer, electronic type putt-putt. It wasn't just like a regular putt-putt course on top. So, I don't know, I would still go Norwegian again. I don't think that the Prima is, I just don't think the Prima is Norwegian's best example. From everything I've heard, I don't believe that that's their best example, and so I'm not going to give up because of one experience on the Prima, which I still think was good.
Did you like the sloths? Yes, I absolutely did love the sloths, and I did get to hug one for about 5 seconds. But yeah, I learned a lot about the sloths there too. They talked quite a bit about it before they let us handle them. So
yeah, it's, I don't know, the more ship excursions we take, I'm finding out more and more that I like ship excursions less and less. A lot more times when we do it on our own and figure out our own way to do it, it's been a better experience that we enjoy more because we're not forced into somebody else's timeline. I do not recommend doing that if you are a new cruiser. Get your feet wet, get used to being in these islands before you try to go off on your own. That's just a friendly
cruise tip.
But yeah, I'm liking cruise ship excursions less versus going off on my own and figuring out my own way, or even going through third parties where you get a lot better experience and you're just not forced into this weird cruise line timeline type situation where you go book monkey, sloths, and macaws and you get 10 seconds with the sloth and 30 minutes in a shopping area.
Yeah.
It bugs me.
Medic says, do you think the cruise industry is going to kill itself by building bigger and more ships and the ports not being able to handle that many people, or islands not wanting ships to port there?
Some ports probably. Is it going to kill the cruise industry? No. Royal Caribbean, who builds the world's largest cruise ships, is already hinting and talking about their new class that they are going to build. It's not set in stone yet, called the Discovery class, which are now smaller. So even the one that builds the world's largest cruise ships is now looking backwards to a smaller class of cruise ship. So I think it's like everything else. They're going to build bigger, and there's been some pushback on a lot of ports. There's a lot of ports that these mega ships cannot get into. There's a lot of ports that they don't want the mega ships get into them. And if the cruise lines want to go to these places and get that revenue and keep their passengers happy, they're going to have to build a combination of both. They're going to have to find a happy medium. Will this kill the cruise industry? No. Will it make them rethink their strategies in the future? Probably. Because there's cruise ports that they can't even get to the United States. They can't get under the bridges. And that's a lot of revenue to leave on the table because you want to build your ship too big. You're here.
When I went, just Cody says when they went, it was just sloths, monkeys, and the birds, and we have plenty of time. I would not like that too much, how y'all had to do it.
Yeah, and that's what someone else told us too, is that there's an option to just do that and not have that other stuff attached. And that would have been really great. It's just for this particular cruise, this was what available, and Tiffany was determined she was going to hug a sloth, so we went with what we could. If we go back and do it again, I definitely would be looking for a different option, even an option to book where we could go ourselves.
Now, James says there was another excursion that went to the animal reserve that you spent all day with sloths and macaws and monkeys.
See, I never saw that one, but James apparently did see that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I missed that one then.
Robert said he likes NCL.
Overall, we do too now. We can honestly say we do too.
Death Possum Victor Bowden in Roatan has been a good pace twice. Okay. Plus cruise ship excursions are getting too expensive. Too expensive, and they're trying to cram too many people into them.
Yeah, okay. That was the other one. Where were we? It was the monkey sloths and the buses that they had and a lot of the buses looked identical. They were super small buses with super small seats. The aisle in between the seats, because, it goes back 10, 15 rows, whatever the case may be. The aisle was barely wide enough for people to walk down. And if you were bigger than other people, you weren't going to fit even between those seats.
I was laughing because the first place they took us, that shopping center, they had their chocolate there. And the lady said, I didn't even want to smell the chocolate because I couldn't afford to put an ounce on because I wouldn't have fit between the seats. Yeah,
those buses were super, super, super tiny, way tight trying to get down into those buses. And then they cram them, they maximum fill them up, and then they rush people through. And that's cruise ship excursion. That's all about the money. When we're getting more in the habit of doing things on our own, and it's turning out to be a much better experience, because the very next port stop we went to Mr. Sanchos, which you have to do completely on your own. Mm-hmm. You cannot get it through the cruise ship, and it's a night and day experience. You go when you're ready, because you just go take a taxi. You enjoy it until you're done enjoying it, or you have to get back to the ship. You take a taxi back. It's all in your own timeline, which just makes it a much, much better day.
Yes. Just pay attention to the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have to pay attention to the time.
Thank you, Robert. Big NCL fan. Squeeze just as much of that time as the time can produce. Chris, I will look it up and send you the name of that excursion. Personally, I do not want to cruise on a mega ship, no matter how beautiful they are. I kind of feel the same way. I'm not feeling the megas.
I don't know. I've sailed on Allure of the Seas, and I liked it. Again, personal opinion, it did not feel crowded. But until you sail on Harmony, that's when you're going to find out. Because she's a big one. But I don't know. I like the big ones. I've enjoyed them, but I also like the small ones. I like the medium size. I like cruise ships. That's probably just the best way to say it. I just like cruise ships. Mm-hmm. I just like cruise ships. So, but anyway, so we left Roatan, hopped back on board the ship, and of course we went to Cozumel. What did you say?
I'm the same. Chica, I will have to get on one of them just to say I've been on a mega ship.
Yeah, I say try it once. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't think I would like it either, and I was pleasantly surprised. So now we're in Cozumel, Mexico. I always have a good day in Cozumel.
Yes.
Always love me some Cozumel.
Finds Monster.
Always love Cozumel. Love Mexico. Love it, love it, love it. But we did go to Mr. Sanchos. People have been asking us, hey, what do you think about Mr. Sanchos? We've had to say we don't know. Well, now we know.
We loved it.
Loved some Mr. Sanchos. Loved it. And it's super easy. You hop in the taxi. They'll take up to, it cost us $22 for up to 4 people in the cab.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not each, it's just basically it's $22 each way for the cab. We hopped in the cab. They run you straight over there. They drop you off. They're waiting for you at the entrance to Mr. Sanchos to get you checked in. We had already pre-booked, pre-everything, had our tickets in our hands. Scan, put you on the your wristband, because they put you on a little wristband. They walk you to the table you're going to sit at. And then after that, they just feed you and drink you. And you swim. And, man, it was a good time at Mr. Sanchos. The food was excellent at Mr. Sanchos. What do you think? The drinks were flowing. The drinks were strong. The drinks were delicious.
The bartender buys you drinks.
All of it is all included.
Yes. Mr. Sanchos is a must, a very fun place. Chris likes the drinks there too.
Now, let's be clear on this now. Okay. I was sitting at the table minding my own business.
Ordering drinks.
I was not ordering drinks. But our bartender, our waiter would come by and go, oh, look, I had extra margaritas on my tray here. And he would just put them down at my table for me. Not in front of Tiffany, not in front of James, me, every time. He goes, I brought you another one. Bro, I didn't order this. Well, now you have another one.
Yeah.
I walked by the bar, filming, minding my own business. And the bartender was like, hey, come here. You need a margarita. I'm like, I don't think I do. And he goes, yeah, you do. You need a special margarita. Then he just starts taking bottles and pouring them in glass. I mean, and then I had the special margarita. It was not my fault. I ordered like 1, maybe 2. I do not know where the other 7 came from.
Is there a beach at Mr. Sanchos? Yes,
there is. It's quite a big beach. They have swimming area. It's marked off. They have buoys out there. You do need water shoes. Mr. Sanchos was water shoes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do need water shoes because it's weird. When you first step in, it's sand. Then it goes rocks for like this far, and then it goes back up and it's soft again. But that section that's this far will mess you up if you're not wearing water shoes.
They also have water toys, but there is an extra charge for that and a different bracelet. So if you don't have the right color bracelet, they will chase you off.
Yeah, and when the Mr. Sanchos video comes out, I've got film of the entire resort, the beach areas, all that kind of stuff. I show all that. I talk about all the pricing and everything for Mr. Sanchos. But yes, they had a beach, they had chairs, they had cabanas, they had those lay-down beds. You could get a massage. They had shops. You get your feet eaten by fish. They have an all-included meal menu there for food. It has tacos and all kinds of stuff on it, all included. You order as much as you want, as often as you want, and the drinks are all included, and much as you want, as often as you want.
They also had a buffet.
They had, there was no shortage of anything on there that was included. It's not like, and they were not slow with the service either. You go to some of those inclusions, and you go, yeah, it's all the drinks you want, and then your waiter comes by once an hour. Our waiter was, constantly around. He was moving and booking, and you did not wait for nothing. Mm-hmm. Service. Mr. Sanchos, definitely a thumbs up. Would go there again, absolutely. And at $68 a person, to me, that's completely worth it. Mm-hmm. For everything it includes and all you can do, and completely worth it.
Death Possum says, been on the Mardi Gras and celebration, just too big. We were on the second to last voyage of the Ecstasy, and it was absolutely perfect. Horizon this Saturday, and we like somewhat smaller ships.
So if you're on the second, so you were getting off the Ecstasy the same day I got on. So we probably passed each other in the parking lot that morning.
Medic says, thanks for a great live chat. Gotta go. James says, I also learned a lot about tequila. Also learned Patron is not a great tequila.
I told you, don't order the American tequila when you're in Mexico.
Death Possum says, Paradise Beach for the win.
We're going to try. That is on our list to try next because we do want to compare the two. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to say right now, Mr. Sanchos, it set the bar pretty high for us.
And then James says, yes, heard good things about Paradise Beach too. Haven't been there.
Yeah, and they're just right down the street from each other. They're on the same road. Because we saw all the signs for them and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely want to check it out. But happy with Mr. Sanchos. Pleased with Mr. Sanchos. I really liked it.
Yes.
I really liked it. And then after that, it was back on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
It was time to head home. We had one more sea day coming home. And you could feel that temperature dropping as we got closer to Galveston. Boop, 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 boop. And we went from shorts and t-shirts to long pants and hoodies by that evening and the next morning.
Yes.
And then finally there was disembarkation, and disembarkation was quick, fast, and easy. We self-assisted, carried off our own luggage, went down about 30 minutes ahead of time, hopped in the line, and when it was time, the line just right off the ship.
Yeah, and they used facial res.
Well, Galveston uses facial rec. Yeah, so quick and easy. Embarkation was easy. One of the neat things I'll have to say, though, is they give you your sign-in sail card right there at check-in.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to wait till the rooms were available, get it on by your room, anything like that. They gave it to us right at check-in. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was, just a tiny little thing, but I liked that they immediately give you your card. It's good. You're ready. You scan on the ship, and you're on vacation.
As Possum says, we are going to Caraco next week. Guess it will be Mambo Beach. Any suggestions?
We'll have to throw that one out to the audience because we have not been there yet. Carousel.
Sorry.
That's part of the ABC Islands.
Okay.
Part of the ABC Islands. And that pretty much wraps up our trip there for the Norwegian Prima. Like I said, overall, it was a good trip. Overall, Norwegian gave a very good first impression. I was happy with the cruise. I was happy with the cruise experience. There's always something you can find that, I wish it was this. Wish this was a little bit different. I think I need to try something else. Things you would tweak and adjust as you go along if you were to ever repeat the process. But we're just, pure first impressions of Norwegian. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
We all must realize how blessed we are that we enjoy. Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so. Sorry I missed. I was busy recording some cruise news videos.
That's no problem. That's no problem. We're always busy.
Yes.
Busy. Especially if you're in the cruise news. That stuff's changing constantly.
Yes.
That is changing constantly. I'm weeks behind on that, getting all of this cruise stuff done. I have to get caught up on that and get going. So, do you have any other thoughts on NCL? Anything I missed?
Rick says, I loved your embarkation video.
We tried to have fun. Tiffany did warn James she was going to get his door, since he was cruising for his birthday, and she did. She got his door.
James says, thank you, Chris and Tiffany. Enjoy the show and enjoy cruising with you both. We'll do it again.
Absolutely, we will do again. No, it was super cool that James got to go on this cruise with us. It was super cool, to put a face to a name, to hang out with someone who, has been here with us on the lives for a long, long time. In our other videos, comments, and I had to put a face to a name and finally cruise with somebody.
Makes it more exciting to work on the group cruise.
Yeah, it does. It's like, okay, if this is this much fun with one person, how much fun are we going to have when it's more and more and more? Yeah, it does. It made me look forward to even the group cruise even more, which we're just waiting. Carnival has said late summer, fall, they're going to put out the 2026 itineraries, and then we'll be able to actually start that process as soon as they release those itineraries, but I'm watching it.
Thank you both for being here.
We thank you for being here.
Exactly. Great time hanging with you guys again. Thanks for a great show.
No, we appreciate it. So we just wanted to share things, especially while it was fresh in our mind about Norwegian. And like I said at the beginning, these are our opinions.
Mm-hmm.
What we think of things, everything I think, you can have an absolutely different cruise experience, and that is perfectly okay. No two people cruise the same. Two people necessarily like the same things. What's good for one may not be good for another.
Yeah.
That is the beauty of cruising, though, is we can all get on one ship and maybe not all of us even have the same experience. It's just a beautiful part of it.
Yeah. Just Cody says, great live tonight. Thank you very much. Robert says, have a great week.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for being here. There are more cruise videos are going to continue to come out. Of course, Saturday and stuff, we will have what every cruiser wants. Got a good one for you this week. Woo! I got a good one for you this week. I got one of those ones that just makes you want to, punt somebody right down the gangway. But we'll cover that Saturday.
Rick says, everyone have a great week. I hope to see you on a cruise.
Hey, we hope to see you. We missed you. I know you were tied up that Thursday pre-cruise get it together, but we'll be back down there. We'll do it again. We will have more opportunities.
Yes.
We will absolutely have more opportunities. We will make more opportunities.
Definitely.
So again, I want to thank everybody for being here. Really, really appreciate it. Love talking to you guys week after week.
Yes, group cruise. Thanks. Have a good night.
Oh yeah, no, definitely yes to group cruise. Cruising with James has really got me saying, you know what, this is a good idea. James broke us from that, meet someone from the chat on a cruise ship type thing. It's kind of makes you a little nervous a little first, Not about James, but more about, is he going to look at us and go, God, these people are jackasses. That type of situation. So it went really, really well, and that makes me look forward to doing it again. So thank you again, James. You helped us out way more than you think.
Yes.
So, all right. But again, thank you everybody for being here. Really, really appreciate it. If you guys haven't done so, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Do all of those good kinds of things. Oh, we got one more here.
Love y'all. Watch you every time and keep it up. Always a thumbs up, of course.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much.
And I am glad you enjoyed your cruise.
I've never met a cruise I didn't like. I'm going to be honest about it. I got to come up with some things sometimes that I don't care for, but I've never actually met one where I'd be like, oh, I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
Love cruising way too much. But thank you guys for being here. And like always,
we'll see you out on the high seas.
Good night, everybody.